our panel is ready to talk all about Nvidia, which has been hitting record highs. Does it have more room to run? Austin Lyons, Senior Analyst, Creative Strategies, and Francisco Bido, Senior Portfolio Manager, FM Investment. Austin, I'll start with you. I mean, we've seen an incredible run. Does Nvidia have what it takes to really differentiate itself and dominate AI?
Hey, Nicole, thanks for having me. Yes, definitely. NVIDIA is differentiated and they are dominating already. You know, we've seen in the training era from 2022 to 2024, everyone who's building out large training clusters is buying NVIDIA. They're buying them for their hardware, for their software, and for their networking. As we're shifting towards the inference era where you're seeing these trained models get deployed, that will just continue. So, NVIDIA is holding strong and the future's bright.
And Francisco, do you agree?
I agree 100%. I think that's spot on. I think NVIDIA, it's in a prime position to really take advantage of this inflection point that we're going through the AI revolution. This is just a point where we start to accelerate. And to have an 80% market share at this point in time is phenomenal. So yes, I agree with that statement.
When you look at the value today of Nvidia, how much more upside, Francisco, do you think this stock has? I mean, we're already seeing it at new highs. Much more room to run?
I believe so. I wouldn't be surprised if it hits another, a 25% upside in the next year and a half or so. And the reason for that being is just that the AI demand, it's for real. It's not what people thought about 2 years ago that AI was a fad. It is no fad. And what we see now with the chatbots and the ChatGPT is only the first part of it. We're going to see agentic AI probably within the next 5 years really take over and really do really amazing things, and not very much to both the top and the bottom line. So there's so much room to run anywhere you look at this.
We think about all the different things that AI could be used for, Austin. I mean, we think NVIDIA, at least one thing we were talking about were the next waves of robo-taxis, humanoid robots. I mean, Austin, where are we headed when it comes to NVIDIA and all things AI?
Great question, Nicole. So, we definitely have room to run on this AI era with OpenAI, for example. ChatGPT is approaching 1 billion monthly active users, but we are very excited about future growth opportunities and future markets for NVIDIA, like robo-taxi, autonomy, autonomous trucking, and humanoid robotics. NVIDIA has a huge opportunity there. It's not just about the data centers for training the AI there. It's also about for the onboard compute in the robo-taxi or in the robot. And then there's also a third opportunity for NVIDIA there with simulation. So to rent servers or sell servers, they have these RTX Pro servers for running these simulation environments. So given labor issues that are going on, we see a lot of opportunity for humanoid robotics and autonomy to come in and help do jobs that people don't want to do or that are dangerous or repetitive. And we think NVIDIA is very well positioned with their hardware, their software in the data center and at the edge.
Yeah, and in your notes, you talked about the run-up that we saw of NVIDIA to the 4 trillion mark. Big news. And now people are asking, and I'll ask you first, Austin, NVIDIA, Microsoft, Apple, which one's the first one to hit 5 trillion, do you think?
So, that's a tough one, but I think NVIDIA is very well positioned. They are supply limited right now, so demand outstrips the supply that TSMC can make and package these chips. And so, definitely through the next several years, we'll continue to see this AI infrastructure build out. Now, I think, on the other end of the spectrum, Apple is trying to figure out how to use AI to give you the best personal computing device experience. And Microsoft's figuring out how to make AI tools to help AI developers. And there's lots of growth for all of them, especially Microsoft and Azure. But it's very straightforward for NVIDIA right now. It's just sell as many chips as they can get their hands on.
Right, understood. I mean, let's talk more about agentic AI, Francisco. I mean, that is the wave of the future, right?
That is correct. And NVIDIA occupies, as I said earlier, a prime position in that market, that developing market. So, I agree 100% with Austin. I mean, they're just in a prime position to really take advantages of all these new developments. We're going to go past chatbots like ChatGPT pretty quickly.
And when you think about, the other names in the S&P 500, I mean, Francisco, are you still sort of vying for these Nvidia AI type names because you really think that's where the growth is?
I definitely own quite a bit of Nvidia in my portfolios, my strategies. As I have complete faith in their growth prospects. And they do have an ecosystem around them, mostly development, software development. They produce the hardware. There's a lot of room to develop the software, the Microsoft and the Apples of the world. But in terms of reaching 5 trillion, which is that question that you asked earlier, I think Nvidia it's my candidate. It's going to be the first one up.
Yeah. Austin, do you think, Francisco was saying he thought there was 25% upside on this stock. Austin, do you think there's upside on this stock? How do you quantify the upside potential?
Yeah, assuming there's no exogenous shocks, and it's very hard with tariffs and with just some of the uncertainty going on in the world. And of course, Nvidia is a trade that lots of people like to get in, but we think over the next year or two that they will, so long as they can continue to meet demand and supply as many chips, software, and AI services as possible, going after enterprises, trying to help them with NIM services and really trying to unlock the enterprise. We definitely think there's upside there for Nvidia and for Nvidia investors.
Yeah, and how about some of the other names like Meta, Austin, some of the other Mag 7 names? When we think about AI strategy and investment for that matter.
Yeah, over the next 5 years, what I'm really excited for Meta is their pursuit into smart glasses and augmented reality. I think there's a lot of opportunity with Gen AI to unlock new user experiences where you can now talk and have contextual information about what you're seeing and what you're hearing. And I think there's a lot of upside there. And Meta is full steam on that and really pushing the envelope with Ray-Ban and with Oakley. And so that's one area that I would track to just upside for Meta. I think they're obviously, Zuckerberg's going hard right now, getting as much talent as he can. And, we'll see how that pays off. Of course, they're already using what they deploy to make a better Facebook experience, Instagram experience. But of course, for advertisers, they're actually trying to essentially automate all of that, where you just say, connect to my bank account, here's the outcome I'm trying to drive. And Meta will help you generate copy, generate the ads, and figure out which consumers to put that in front of. So, I think they're very well positioned there. And then I just like new form factors as a new opportunity for Meta to expand into.
Yeah, and Francisco, I see here you talked about new growth and using AI. Manufacturing, healthcare, transportation. We're going to see a lot of AI going forward in everything quickly.
That is absolutely correct. And a lot of it will have to do with the agentic technology as it become more, right now it's basically in the research phase, in my opinion. But, within the next 5 years, we're going to see a lot of those pretty much become reality. And the advantage with the agentic AI is that it can piece together, it can reason like a human. It will be an agent that that will create an optimal workflow. If you're in real estate, it will figure out what's available, what the prices are, what the history of the data is, and it will be capable of making decisions. So that's what agentic AI is about: taking action, not just listening to or looking at a chatbot. It will take action to execute other AI modules and interact with other AI agents. So there's quite a bit left here. This is only the exception. This is where the curve does this. It's that inflection point. Now we'll begin to accelerate. So there's a lot more in NVIDIA's in the prime spot.
Thank you. Francisco, Bido, Austin, Lyons, great to see you both. Thank you so very much. Glad you were here today to talk about NVIDIA.